Welcome back. Action in round 28 of the English Premier League ended earlier on Monday with Tottenham hosting relegation-threatened Everton. We have the highlights.
Corey is a ball stealer. Alan's a ball interceptor, really. And a good clear passer.
Good move here by Spurs. In by Sessegnon. And finished by Harry Kane.
Such a great ball from Ryan Sessegnon. Who needs your creativity in the middle if you can get the ball to the flanks like this? Lovely way to pass from Ben Davies. You're thinking it's going to be slightly too high, but Sessegnon's a speedy player. Superb cross. Michael Keane's got to do better. Got to do better than that. The ball is fist past Harry Kane. It's not easy, but I think he's got to get a good connection on that.
Here's Kane. Kulusevski, and now Son. It's 2-0. Here's Kulusevski. Doherty, piercing pass. Harry Kane. There's no flag, and Harry Kane dispatches the chance. And Spurs score their third goal. Scorer of their second goal here this evening, and Son now racing away. Spurs on the hunt here. Run after half-time, Kulusevski square, and a chance to make it 4. And how about that?
Well, I did think it could get worse, actually. Resumption on the second half, Joe, and it has done, hasn't it, for Everton? Superb interception by Reguilon on the far side. He started off, continues his run, and it's a lovely ball into Kulusevski just through the middle, and there he is.
It's been given away again here by Everton. Doherty, Kane, it's 5 this time. It's a superb Harry Kane finish.
Well, this is a shot all the way from Harry Kane. Sloppy giveaway. Seamus Coleman this time is a guilty man. Look how quick Doherty is to come up on the outside of Bentancur. And as soon as that ball was played, this was a shot from Harry Kane all day long. Wasn't thinking about anything else, just pulled himself away superbly. They can't be taken for granted. They will know that this team needs some kind of surgery in a way, but they're not going to get it now until the summer. Lampard has got to work some kind of magic, because this has been a horrible, horrible experience. Spurs worthy winners.
Well, that was absolutely horrific for Everton. Well, here are the other results from the weekend's action. As you can see, Leicester getting by Leeds 1-0, Chelsea with a 4-0 victory over Burnley, Aston Villa 4-0 over Southampton, Brentford with a 3-1 victory over Norwich, Newcastle with a 2-1 victory over Brighton, Crystal Palace beating Wolves 2-0, Liverpool with a 1-0 win over West Ham, and Arsenal getting by Watford by 3-2. And of course, Manchester United going down by 4-1. Anyway, so this is standing as we know it. Tottenham, they are now in 7th spot, having played 26 games. They are they have 2 games in hand on West Ham and Manchester United. And of course, Arsenal, they're in the prime position for that 4th spot because they have 3 games in hand when you compare it with a couple of teams above them. And Everton, of course, they are in 17th spot. They're just 1 point above the relegation zone. They do have a game in hand over Burnley, so a little bit of a cushion for them there. Our English-based football correspondent, Simon Evans, joins us to analyse what has happened over the last 3 days. I'm going to start with the most recent game, Simon, as we welcome you to the Sportsmax Zone. Everton, they were a disaster today, weren't they?
They were, and they're in real trouble now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a game in hand over Burnley, but, you know, they have to win that game in hand. And the way they're playing at the moment, they really can't put anything together. The defending has been just terrible. You could see from watching those goals there just how sloppy the marking was and how easy it was for Tottenham, who played very well. Of course, you don't win 5-0 against a Premier League team without playing very well, but Everton are in deep trouble.
Again, it's very hard to read Tottenham's results, if we are to be fair, because they are so inconsistent. But is there anything that you take out of this game to see them really challenging for top 4?
Well, Kane and Son are on fire again. I mean, when those two are at their best, fully fit and fully functioning, then Tottenham are a side to contend with. And you look at that league table there, and it's incredible that Tottenham are in a position where they could be pushing for that 4th place. It's only a matter of days ago that Antonio Conte the other week was talking as though he was about to leave the club after they lost at Burnley. But, you know, they've bounced back very well from that. They had that big win against Manchester City as well. So it's not out of the question that Tottenham could make that push for fourth place. It's a really wide open battle for that fourth Champions League spot.
Based on Lampard's style, though, Frank Lampard, of course, the coach, the manager of Everton, do you think that he's allowing his team to try and bite off more than they can chew, because they are in a relegation battle, and it seems as if they will always be pressing up the pitch and trying to play high, and they were caught out on a number of occasions this afternoon?
Yeah, I do think he's going to have a look at that and think about whether or not it's just a case of grinding out results now. I mean, I know managers want to impose their style and their influence on teams, but when you're in the position that Everton are in now, I mean, the club is investing a huge amount of money in a new stadium. They really can't afford to get relegated from the Premier League. It would be a disaster for them. They've been, one of the most consistent Premier League teams, finishing mid-table or top half. And there's been disappointment that they haven't been able to break through and get into Champions League or regular even Europa League football. But to find themselves in this position, I think Lampard's just going to have to grind out some results and forget about the star players, forget about the finesse and the style and the tactics and all the progressive football that people like to talk about. Just somehow find a way to sort that defence out and grind out some results.
Well, in other news, Simon, Manchester United, they're going to hell in a handbasket at the moment after that thrashing that they received from Manchester City. I mean, they were getting the support from Liverpool fans, so I suspect that would have been a curse in and of itself. But what were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was a strange first half, really, because City made a very slow start. They did take the lead very early on, but they were playing, they were moving the ball very slowly, almost ponderous by their own standards, and United were allowed to sort of take the initiative a little bit, got themselves back into the game with a goal. City restored it 2-1 at half-time, but you went in and thought, well, United have been in this contest. And then second half, City just wiped the floor with them. I mean, they were absolute different class. Turned up the tempo, turned up the passing. The possession game was incredible. There were spells in that game where they had 90% possession, especially after they went 3-1 up when United's heads went down really, really badly, which was noticed by lots of people. Very worrying performance from United, but very impressive again from City.
Yes, Simon, I'm going to take over from here now because Donald is getting very, very emotional about his Manchester United. So let's analyze what really went wrong for Manchester United in the second half. Because I get the sense that in the first half, they were challenging Manchester City. They were actually putting in the effort and whatnot. In the second half, though, it's as if they lacked any sort of motivation to help them even score another goal.
Yeah, I mean, look, we can go into all the tactics of it, and the way Ralph Rangnick approaches the game, I thought was very strange to start off with Paul Pogba at centre-forward, position that he's never really played before at this level anyway. And when you've got Marcus Rashford on the bench, very odd. The formation was a little bit strange, but it sort of managed to work in the first half. I don't know where to start with United. We've talked so many times about the problems being very deep at that club and the squad not being good enough. But, the way their heads went down in that second half, and like I say, we can talk about tactics all day, but there's something deeply wrong with a team. When you go 3-1 down in a derby game, you put your head down and try and get a second goal and make a game of it. And United just collapsed. They just sat back and let City play for the rest of the game. It was... For United fans, I think that would have been one of the most painful derby defeats of recent years.
Yeah, and I just have one question. Dismissing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a bad idea. The man that actually got them to second last season.
Yeah, it was good. I was talking about it this morning with a friend of mine, and we were saying that game against Watford, after United had the defeat to Liverpool, that was such a terrible one, they then managed to go and win at Tottenham. And then it was that defeat at Watford that did them. And had they won that game, I think Solskjaer might still be here. They were very reluctant to get rid of him. And the performance yesterday, I'm not going to say they should have kept Solskjaer because they had a dreadful run of results and things were going wrong. But the performances in recent years at the Etihad from United haven't been that bad, actually. Solskjaer's done well. They've had good results there. Mourinho did pretty well there. We had a great game where Pogba... scored 2 in the second half, I think. they've done all right there. They've gone and played counter-attacking football and made it work against Manchester City. Yesterday, they were nowhere near that.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as good as they were under Mourinho or Solskjaer.
Yes, Simon, well, I don't want to take up too much of this segment, stressing about Manchester United's problems. I think it's only fitting that we celebrate the collective effort that we saw from Manchester City. I was particularly impressed with Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden. And, I just feel like we should spend some time talking about how well they did as a unit.
I think we should. Yeah, I think De Bruyne was fantastic. He's really back to his best, isn't he? He's just... he's the perfect midfielder. Really, he is all round. He runs the game from the centre of the park. He's strong physically. We saw that a few times yesterday where United players were bouncing off him. But he's also arrives in the penalty area at just the right time. His finishing for both goals was spot on. He's superb, and Foden is outstanding talent. That burst into the box for the shot that was parried for De Bruyne's goal, second goal, I think, was superb from Foden. He's a real talent.
Yeah, Donald, anything you want to ask about Man City?
I'm just, all right, so I just need to vent a little bit, right? Because, of course, it was said that I'm a Manchester United supporter, but obviously, the magnifying glass will be on the defence, and, of course, Manchester United getting a holding midfielder in the coming transfer window, because, again, I get the impression that even the club feels that they're just not good enough. But we keep on seeing the likes of Maguire and Fred being selected, and they have fallen short over and over again. Based on what you're hearing, what do you think is the thinking behind a possible rebuild of Man United after this season?
I think it's such a big rebuild they need that it's almost impossible to do it fully in one summer. But they're going to have a go at it. I mean, whoever the manager's going to be, and that's a debate in itself, I don't think it's going to be Ralph Rangnick. But whoever the next manager is, whether it's from Ajax, Tenkate, or whether it's Pochettino from Paris Saint-Germain or somebody else, they're going to have a proper look at that squad and work out how they're going to improve it. And they've got to get rid of a lot of players. United have kept players there. Juan Mata's still there. You remember him?
Yeah.
There's players like Lingard's been leaving Manchester United for 2 years and he's still there. So they've I was looking at Chelsea's financial situation the other week, and they've made a lot of money by selling players who you hardly think of as Chelsea players. But they get money for them. They keep them moving out. Manchester United keep them in the squad, picking up huge wages and never get any money for them. So they're going to have to clear out those players and then bring in some better ones. It's a huge job for whoever comes in. And that's leaving aside all the questions about directors of football and the structure of the club and everything. They need to have a big turnover at that club.
There's still a tight race to look forward to in the English Premier League, though, and Liverpool actually did their job in getting by West Ham. And, it wasn't a runaway scoreline. We didn't expect that, to be honest, but Liverpool were efficient.
They were, and, it's games like that against the West Ham team who've had an excellent season, a little bit, they've had little struggles recently, but overall, massively above expectations for West Ham this season. That's the kind of game you can end up losing or getting stuck in a draw with, and Liverpool finding a way to win. I think, we've all praised City this weekend, and there's been so much said and written about how good City were yesterday in that second half and how well they're playing this year. But as Guardiola said after the game, being in this challenge with Liverpool season after season is bringing out the best out of his team. And Liverpool are absolutely outstanding. I think they are the two best club teams in the world at the moment. And Liverpool aren't far behind City at all. Almost, in a strange way, going under the radar because of what City do. But they are an outstanding team, Liverpool.
And it's funny that the defending European champions, they are in third spot at the moment, and obviously the third best team in the country, you feel?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, who knows who the fourth is? It's wide open, and those teams, Arsenal, Spurs, Manchester United, even West Ham, it could be anyone's. But Chelsea are the third best team in the country, and a good side. And we'll see. There's a lot of uncertainty. Obviously, the club with Roman Abramovich having put it up for sale. Will the new owners be in place quickly? What will happen with Tuchel and the transfer market? So a lot of question marks over Chelsea. But this team this season is doing pretty well.
Arsenal, of course, they are using up the games in hand, but they are getting the maximum points needed to be a part of this fourth place, and they are firmly the favourites for that fourth spot now after their win over Watford.
Yeah, I think they are. And, you know, we've had debates on this programme about Mikel Arteta on several occasions. And, you know, I took the position that if they'd hired Mikel Arteta for a rebuilding project, then they had to give him time to rebuild. And we're starting to see now the fruits of that. You know, Odegaard was excellent. They've got young players coming into that side. And Arsenal are starting to look like a team. I don't think they're title contenders yet. I think they would need to add a little bit extra quality across the field to be challenging with City and Liverpool. But for Arsenal to be in this position, pushing for a Champions League place, as you say, favourites for fourth place, is a pretty strong turnaround for Mikel Arteta from, you know, early in the autumn when people were talking about whether he should be removed or not.
I guess earlier, I guess you could say that they would have played with want and abandon, but now they'll have the pressure to try and hold on to that fourth spot. Do you think that this young team can actually do so?
Yeah, I think they can. I think they've gelled into a unit at last. You know, Arsenal have had this. They've seemed to be a soft touch for a lot of years. I don't think they're quite a soft touch anymore. They have a sort of togetherness that they found, and it's good to see. You know, I mean, I think the Premier League needs a good Arsenal.
Simon, pleasure as always. Catch you again soon.
All right, all the best.
All right, Mariah, you can gloat.
No,
No, you don't want to gloat? This may be the only time that you can do so.
No, actually, we've been gloating for a long time, and we have all the reason to.
That's her gloating.
I don't need to gloat. We talk on the pitch. We don't need to talk here.
Okay, but you are pleased with how they are performing, though, right?
Definitely, and I actually, you know, I get nervous every time Liverpool is catching up with us, and they're very, very close. But I do have the confidence that Manchester City and Pep at the helm. There's something about Pep. You know, I followed him when he was at Barcelona.
Right.
Moved with him when he went to Manchester.
Oh, you moved with him?
I love Pep Guardiola and everything that he stands for,
right,
his tactics and whatnot. So I do have a lot of confidence in him. And I think we're going to win this one again.
All right, of course, you can watch the English Premier League on the Sportsmax app and, of course, on Rush, which is on the Sportsmax app. Don't miss a minute of the football. Take a break. Back with more after this.